Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be showing you how to create a Ghast train of custom length. This is the long awaited tutorial video. The link's on to my previous one about how I managed to get to this point, so please go watch that if you haven't already. So before we actually get into building, you have to understand the key kind of components. First, and most important, we have the cell. This is one Happy Ghast train segment. You can see the minecart in here. One of these equates to one Happy Ghast car. Then you have the timer. This one is just the timings between the switch, the next part I'm discussing, and the cell, and it's just the attachment between them. Then you get onto the switch. The switch is the connection, well, the switch is the trigger between, sending a signal into the system and making sure that Happy Ghast arrives. Then you have the loop timer. This one's less important. It's essentially just this. It can be any length, and it's just to make the whole circuit keep looping whilst I'm, whilst you're not wanting to manually trigger it. Then you've got this. This is the command blocks I'm using. Basically summon a minecart with a Happy Ghast as its passenger. This is just so that when I feel like it, I can summon some trains and I don't have to get them. Let's move on to building the switch. Preferably the first part of your system, you could have the station ready. So I'm going to place 6 blocks out from where my actual train track is, and that will be the 6 top blocks. Then I'm going to go 2 blocks down and have another row of 6 blocks below that. So you have this nice 6 block long, 12 blocks total line. Then we're going to have 3 detector rails, furthest point away from where your station is going to be, and then 3 powered rails closest to your station. From there, we're going to place 3 redstone dust below your detector rails, 1 repeater, and 1 copper bulb. The repeater needs to point into the copper bulb, and then finally 1 comparator with a button on the copper bulb, so that you can trigger the copper bulb, and it will send an output that way. Here are the resources for the cell. Remember that this is per Happy Ghast car, so for every train car that you want, you're going to need this amount of resources. So from your switch, we're going to go about 3 blocks out, and then we're going to have a 4th block and get rid of those 3 blocks just for wiggle room that will come in later. We're going to then do a 3 wide area, and then have 2 blocks out, so you have a 3 by 3 area, and then we're going to do 2 blocks out on that same side, so it's a nice 5 by 3 square. Now on this, it doesn't really matter where this redstone line goes, but it does change the orientation and thereby where you have your timer go. I'm going to place it on this side like over in the demonstration. This is just the central redstone line. This is what gets powered, so it depends. Basically, this has to stay the same for every single car that you have. From here, we're going to do 1 target block, 2 target blocks, 1 repeater, 2, 3 repeaters, so you've got this nice little formation. From there, we're going to place 1, 2 torches, and then 2 redstone dust. Now, to re-jig our inventories, we are going to place 1 block on top of that and place 1 redstone torch there, 1 block on top of the other redstone torch, and a redstone torch on top of that block. Then the same on this side, and then we'll do this like that. So now you should have 1 redstone torch above the target block and a nice little formation of whatever block you've chosen for this layer here. Remember that this block is going to be visible when in the closed formation, so please bear that in mind. Now we're going to place 1 piston here, 1 piston here, and then we're going to place some support blocks on this side. No, I was on the right side, this side. Place 2 support blocks coming out from the pistons. Make sure that it's on the same side as your main central redstone line. Then place 1 piston facing that block and another piston facing into that block that is going to be powered by the other piston. And now you can get rid of those support blocks, and you're going to get your 2 observers, and make sure that you're facing towards the pistons so that when you place them down, the observers are pointing away from the pistons. From there, we can get rid of all of this, and that, and I believe that leads us with just this bit where we place down 2 bits of obsidian here. 1 powered rail, 2 powered rail, 3 powered rail. And then you can place blocks just like that to make 7 total blocks, I think. That should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, there we go. So that is all 7 total blocks, and that is the final assembly complete for the train. Now I'm going to temporarily check whether or not I've done it correct by doing this. Boom. Everything's working fine. Now we get onto the little bit of timing that you need to do, and you need to make sure that whatever repeater we're adjusting is most likely the direction opposite to the train's movement. So if the train is coming in this way, so it goes around the track this way and all the way around, and it comes into the station this way, we're going to have this piston set as the 2 tick, so that when this triggers, it will push the car that way and keep it going in the same loop. You can end up doing this so that it goes in this way, but then it actually goes out the opposite way, just as long as you make the loop system work with that. I'm going to make mine do as normal, and now hopefully when I do this, there we go. This is where I made a fatal mistake and put 2 blocks in the wrong positions. So I can now place all the blocks back, and boom. I'm pretty sure as well, if I did this, I might be able to get rid of the observers entirely. They are mainly an artifact from... Yeah, see, there we go. There's the key reason why we need the observers. As I've just shown you, basically the observers detect. You can see they will not repower, but now they're fine. So this is why the observers are here. The thing is, with bedrock redstone, you don't need that. So this build should theoretically also work on bedrock edition, just you don't need the observers. You can replace them with normal blocks. But now you can see we've all got a nice working system. From here, we are going to go out from the repeater, bring a little redstone line going in, and we're going to try and meet somewhere in the middle of our whole system. This is the reason why in most of my displays you see 2 redstone torches, because then I can have a center point in the middle. So I could do maybe this, so that I can go 15 out that way, 15 out that way in terms of redstone signal, rather than 14 and 15. But for now, it doesn't really matter because it's a small system. What we're going to do is we are going to have a repeater here. We're then going to, because the repeater wants to point into where this is, so we get maximum signal strength there. What we're going to do from there is we're going to place some redstone along this line, just to connect up our switch to our system. From there, we are going to place in a little nice observer into a redstone dust with a repeater coming off of that, with then into a copper bulb, preferably waxed, with a comparator coming out of it, and of course a button on top so that you don't have to wait for any time to go by. From there, we are going to quickly make sure I can't power the system whilst I change it, I'm going to place 1 repeater, 2 repeater, and I'm going to keep it as that because I figured out it's roughly 1 4-tick repeater per cell. So with this, there's 2, 3, that's 1 4-tick, so I can add 1 more 4-tick there, and that should be everything. Main system all working, and you've gone through all the timings. Make sure that your station has this kind of layout, so it's in the locked layout, and then get your minecarts with happy ghasts in. I'm going to use command blocks to summon this, just so it's a lot easier, but you can get them in minecarts, and that will work, hopefully. Now you press the button, and it will go off. So with your loop timer, ideally, and this is why we have this redstone dust here, you want to get the signal from this redstone dust, and then you want to put it back into the copper bowl. And there is our looping timer done. I can now summon in my happy ghasts. And this is why you want a button on this copper bowl, because you want to hit this button so that it doesn't trigger this. But now when it comes back around and triggers this whole system, it's going to loop around and it will trigger this copper bulb again. So now that I'm on Bedrock Edition, you can see if I power this, everything works fine, and if I power this again, everything works perfectly. Thank you all for watching my video. This tutorial I know has been long awaited. I've just worked on it a little bit, trying to test and make sure I can make this fully reliable and make a tutorial that will always work. The world download will be in the description if you do want it. Bear in mind that these command blocks will only work on Java Edition because the commands that I'm using will only be available for Java because they are Java commands. So if you do want to convert them over to Bedrock, you are going to have to do a little bit of research to get that to work yourself. So yeah, thank you for watching, hope you all have enjoyed. Please credit me if you use any videos for this. If you use this for videos, please credit me. I've spent a bunch of time and effort not only making the big building in the background, but also just in general making this system fully work and be stackable up to whatever you want. Just a quick little side note, you'll see over here how I have the torches, as I mentioned earlier, or maybe didn't, we'll see. But I've got it on double, so that I can go 15 out that way, 15 out that way. We can also see how in this direction there's 2 more torches, but there's also repeaters and some repeaters here. Basically, you want all of these torches deactivating at the exact same time, so you want the same delay between torches. So whatever the delay between your furthest torch activating or deactivating is going to be the same delay over these ones. So you can see I have a 1 tick and a 1 tick, but I can adjust that to 2 tick if I have another section of these. So I add 1 more of this, 1 more repeater, and I just make sure that each of these also has the same delay as that. So I'd find a way to maybe get this line to go round so that that torch triggers another torch, and then this has another torch delay or something. Just you want the delay between when those torches trigger to be the exact same, otherwise this line will activate differently and then half of your car or half of your train will move separately to what it's supposed to do. That's just a little side note. You can see my demonstrations over here. I have 2 torches mainly, so I can go as far that way and that way as possible. So again, thank you for watching, hope you all have enjoyed. Please credit me with all of the cool builds that you do, maybe at me in the description, I will look at them. Thank you for watching, hope you all have enjoyed.